RTV6 News at 5. Working for you.
First at 5, growing concerns tonight after mosquitoes found in Carmel tested positive for West Nile virus just days ago.
One man contacted RTV6 saying he's had concerns about the mosquitoes in that specific park for years.
And working for you tonight, RTV6's Stephanie Wade shows us how the city is taking action tonight.
According to the state health department, mosquitoes have tested positive for the West Nile virus in 5 different Indiana counties. And one area is right here at Meadowlark Park in Carmel. It was a lovely day to be outside.
Just taking the grandkids to fish.
But these folks who came to the park were surprised after hearing mosquitoes tested positive for the West Nile virus here just a few days ago.
And when I saw the algae and everything else, I became concerned because, you know, that breeds disease and virus and everything.
But Marshall Anditch wasn't surprised. He says he voiced concerns about the wet conditions and standing water to the city a few years ago.
When I sent something 3 years ago, no one responded to it. But I think now this is a lot more in the news because it has been found in several counties in Indiana.
I asked the Carmel Parks and Recreation Director if there was anything particular about this park that makes it more susceptible.
We have a creek that goes through it. We have a pond that's stocked by the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. And it's also a park that has some wetlands in it. So there's areas where there's just standing water. And those are all conditions where a variety of insects, mosquitoes included, like to thrive and live.
The Hamilton County Health Department does testing at this park on a weekly basis. They have traps, and if they see anything, they immediately spray. The city says they're also taking steps to make improvements at this park, dedicating about $3.1 million from the Clay Township Impact Program to replace the existing playground, fishing pier, and other amenities. Hopefully that will resolve any issues.
Some of the areas where the water stands were originally wetlands, and looking at converting them back to wetlands so that they have a more natural balance. So we're looking at doing things like that, making sure that our playgrounds and our shelter are not in the lowest part of the park.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
The Meadowlark Park is just one of 6 parks that will undergo renovations next year in the city of Carmel. Once they start planning this fall, there will be an opportunity for public input to best address the needs of all the neighborhoods surrounding all of those parks. Now at 5 o'clock, 2 people are dead following a crash on Interstate 70 near Plainfield, which is still causing major traffic troubles. The Plainfield Fire Department says the crash happened just after 2 this afternoon in the eastbound lanes of I-70, this near State Road 267 in Hendricks County. Again, 2 people are dead. And this, a live look right now from eastbound I-70. And as you can see, the eastbound lanes of the interstate are closed. Traffic is being diverted off of I-70, so avoid eastbound I-70 again near State Road 267 near Plainfield. It is not yet clear what caused this crash, and the 2 people killed have not been identified as of now.
The sun and humidity are on full display in downtown Indianapolis, and also a few thunderstorms have popped up in our viewing area. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is here. And Kevin, what will change the rest of the evening and for the start of our Wednesday?
Arriving tonight, lower humidity and cooler temperatures. We've just got to get there. We've had some showers and thunderstorms to the south, but we're still at 87 right now. Look at the wind direction out of the northwest. That's the key to lowering the humidity and dropping the temperature. The thunderstorms have been confined really to the southern portion of the state, Bloomington to Nashville and Columbus. Let's zoom in. One area of rain right near Story, Indiana, in the southern portion of the hills of Brown County, near Lake Monroe, then near Seymour. All of this activity is drifting to the south and east, but watch how they just kind of pop up out of nowhere. They've had torrential rainfall in southeast Indiana and in the Cincinnati area. For us, temperatures, they're as warm as they've been all day long. 87 in Indianapolis, mid-80s, Lafayette and Peru. Temperatures will fall about 20 to 25 degrees by tomorrow morning. By 11 o'clock tonight, partly cloudy skies, 73 degrees with the humidity starting to fall.
And now at 5, take a good look. You may have noticed this right here. The bike lanes popping up in downtown Indianapolis. That means there are some significant changes for drivers and for the bicyclists downtown. Working for you tonight, RTV6's Cameron Riddle shows us how to navigate Indy streets.
Indigo's new red line is not only changing the way drivers are getting their cars through downtown Indianapolis, it's also changing the way bicyclists get from point A to B. Before the red line officially rolls through Indianapolis, new bike lanes are already open for business, and that means changes for Hoosiers on 2 wheels and 4.
We removed the bike lane on Capitol Avenue going south, and because of that, we added the bike lane here on Illinois. That new 2-way bike lane leaves 1 fewer lane for drivers headed north on Illinois. What was a lane of parking on the side of the street is now the bike lane, leaving some drivers confused on where to park. And let's literally walk you through this. Literally, right here is the north and south bike lanes on Illinois. Then over here on the other side of these new traffic barriers is where drivers will park their cars. And then finally, remaining in the street are those now 2 traffic lanes that drivers have to park, and then 1 additional parking lane on the other side of Illinois. Working for you tonight, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Thanks, Cameron. A lot to get used to out there. Tonight, Indianapolis police are searching for a man in connection with at least 2 counts of child molestation. Investigators in Indianapolis issued a warrant for Oscar Sanchez Hernandez on July 19th, charging him with 2 counts of child molestation. That's according to Crime Stoppers of Central Indiana. Hernandez is also a suspect in a molestation case out of Johnson County. IMPD says they believe Hernandez moved into an apartment on the south side of Indianapolis, although his exact location is still not known. If you have any info, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. An Illinois man escaped from a fiery crash along Interstate 74 in Boone County this morning. The Boone County Sheriff's Office says 20-year-old Cesar Hernandez from Champaign, Illinois, crashed into a guardrail around 1 a.m. This is his car. You can see it's charred. When deputies arrived, Hernandez's car was on fire. He got out of the vehicle. However, when deputies were going to talk to Hernandez, he lost his balance while sitting on a bridge wall and fell into the creek below. He injured his arm there, but investigators say it is not clear if that injury happened because of the crash or because of falling into the creek.
Colts camp rolls along, but quarterback Andrew Luck is not part of any of the practices right now. And because of that, of course, it's an ongoing calf issue. And this has caused some panic among Colts fans on social media today. Sports Director Dave First is at Colts camp today, where he heard from Luck himself.
And after a day off, the Colts back at it here at Grant Park in Westfield. First of 3 straight days before, well, getting another day off after that. But the news of the day involving one Andrew Luck, and stop me if you've heard this before, but he did not practice during this session today. Of course, it all goes back to last year all the time and the conservative nature that they took that shoulder injury. But this one a little different. This is the calf injury that happened some 3 months ago. He missed all the entire offseason, really, and so now they're being even more conservative with that. So Andrew Luck, all the other quarterbacks were out on the practice field. Luck, though, was not. So that conservative nature that really helped him a year ago, they're taking it once again. Nothing to fear, really, big picture-wise, but the Colts, they do want to make sure 12 is A-OK when the season starts in 5 weeks.
It's a calf strain, and we're on our feet a lot, and I know to be the best quarterback I want to be, to help this team like I want to help them, I'm not looking for average, and if I'm going out here with pain, I'll be average. I will feel like an average quarterback, and I'll be an average quarterback. That's not good enough for me. That's not good enough for this club.
Let's get this thing right. We still got plenty of time to go. And listen, we're dealing here with a guy who knows how to deal with this stuff. And I trust Andrew implicitly and want to listen to him and the feedback. He knows what he feels. So I think we're doing the right thing there.
All of this is sounding vaguely familiar when you go back to what happened with Luck and the conservative nature and approach they had literally and figuratively just a year ago. Hey, if it worked well a year ago, perhaps it'll work well again. First game isn't until 5 weeks. Don't panic, at least not yet. In Westfield, Dave First, RTV6 Sports.
All right, thanks, Dave. Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6. It could be the next cool craze that may keep you from ever being hot. Details coming up on the Now Indy.
But first, an unusual request. New details on exhuming the body of an infamous bank robber, and it involves a cable network. But first, let's check in with Kevin.
Showers and some isolated thunderstorms to the south, and they are moving south. What's moving in tonight through the weekend? Coming up.
And now at 5, we're getting new information about a plan to exhume the body of infamous bank robber John Dillinger at Crown Hill Cemetery right here in Indianapolis. And we're also learning the History Channel is involved. Today, the State Department of Health confirms that Dillinger's body will be exhumed and reburied on September the 16th at 10 a.m. So the entire process will all happen in one day. We're still trying to figure out exactly what's behind this unusual request. Dillinger's relatives have not answered their phones asking for the why, but we have confirmed that the History Channel is working with Dillinger's family. Today at Crown Hill Cemetery, we ran into a man from Minnesota who likes to visit the graves of famous mobsters. He has his own theory of why he believes there's a plan to exhume Dillinger's body.
I think maybe they're trying to link him to other robberies that they didn't link him to before. Maybe he was more prolific than we thought.
A lot of theories out there. John Dillinger was born in Indianapolis back in 1903. He and his gang allegedly robbed more than 20 banks and 4 police stations in the early 1930s. Police shot and killed him in Chicago in 1934.
Drinking a caffeinated pre-workout drink before exercising could cause some dangerous side effects. That's according to a study from Ball State University. Researchers at Ball State say ingesting caffeine before a workout may cause changes in the blood that could make you more susceptible to blood clots. And that could increase cardiovascular risk during exercise. The school says these risks may include stroke, heart attack, deep vein thrombosis, and pulmonary embolism. Ball State researchers believe more research is needed since the study was limited to healthy young men. And these findings may not apply to other populations, particularly women or older adults. The Children's Museum of Indianapolis says it will demolish 2 buildings it owns on the near north side. Museum officials say the Drake apartment building and the former Salvation Army building will both come down. They're located in the 3000 block of North Meridian Street. The Children's Museum will use the money currently allocated to those buildings, which is about $200,000 a year, to support future museum programs and operations. In the short term, the museum will use those 2 properties to provide extra parking. In the long term, future exhibits and programs could be located there.
They will all be on the same stage. Tonight is round 2 of the Democratic presidential debate. It's broken up into 2 nights in Detroit, Michigan. And this evening, South Bend Mayor and presidential hopeful Pete Buttigieg will be on that stage. ABC's Maggie Rulli is in the spin room in Detroit with new information tonight.
As the Democratic candidates kick off night 1 of their second round of debates, all eyes are on the 2 progressive powerhouses taking center stage.
The 2 people in the middle are the front runners, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. But the thing is, they don't actually disagree on very much. I think there's an alliance of sorts among the 2 progressives on the field, and the other folks on the stage have a lot more incentive to go after them than they do to go after each other.
And ABC News political director Rick Klein tells us this could be the last chance for many of the other 8 candidates on stage to break through.
Fully half of the people that we're going to see tonight do not know if they're going to ever have another debate. They are not assured of a spot because of the polling thresholds at the next debate in September. That means that the pressure's on them to make something happen.
And he says the 2 men who will be standing on either side of tonight's frontrunners, Beto O'Rourke and Pete Buttigieg, have a lot to live up to.
It's a big night for Beto O'Rourke. He has sort of fallen off the radar screen. Ironically, he's going to be facing off against Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who took away a lot of his early momentum. I think those 2 men, they may have as much riding on this as anyone else because they have to show why the 2 of them among each other deserve to be back in contention.
Also making headlines tonight, Montana Governor Steve Bullock. This will be his first appearance on the debate stage, and he often boasts about winning in a state that President Trump won. The fundraising and polling numbers needed to even qualify for the next debate have doubled, and right now only about half of the candidates are even eligible, meaning this is a make or break night for many. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Detroit.
In Democracy 2019 coverage in the race for mayor in Indy, independent candidate John Schmitz was trying to get on the ballot for Indianapolis mayor in this year's election, but the Marion County Election Board rejected his appeal after he fell short of the required number of signatures. Schmitz submitted more than 8,000 signatures, but about 2,800 of those were deemed not qualified. Some signatures weren't legible. Others people were not registered voters, and some wrote a different address than their voter registration form. This caused confusion because state law requires voters to use the address where they are registered to vote. But the state provided forms saying to write their current address, which could be different. The Marion County Election Board did not cut Schmitz any slack for that discrepancy.
You have over 6,100 registered voters. That is the bottom line of what this petition is for. So they still live in Marion County. They're registered voters. Seems like a pretty easy thing to me to say, okay, that works. But, they're hiding behind the statute.
Despite today's unanimous ruling, Schmitz says he will not give up on his appeal until he's on the November ballot for mayor of Indianapolis.
Time to check your forecast. Had a chance today to travel to Anderson and Muncie, and you can tell because of all the rain, the mosquitoes were out in full force. And luckily, our photographer had some bug spray. So I was like, okay, he was prepared, like a Boy Scout.
Hey, you work outside all the time. You figure out how to protect yourself, whether it's from the sun, mosquitoes, rain, you got it. Beautiful, though, right now, especially as you look to the west. What I like is the clarity there. Doesn't it look kind of crystal clear?
Postcard.
Very nice. Those cumulus clouds you see now, you won't see later tonight. Those will fade away, and we'll also lose a little bit of the haze in the air as the humidity begins to drop. Thunderstorms down to the south diminishing. They're going, almost gone from our viewing area. Just clearing Lake Monroe. One downpour there. Another just to the northeast of Bedford, south of Seymour. All of this headed toward the Ohio River. To the north, nothing happening. And I do think we'll continue to see the drier air filter in from northwest to southeast, and it will lead to an enjoyable stretch of weather. Temperatures right now are warm. 87 in Indianapolis. We're the warmest. You see what happens when you have the nearby rain and cloud cover. 80 in Richmond, 83 in Greensburg. Temperatures tonight destined for the upper 50s to low 60s. Say hello to Rocco. He got up and out of his chair when he heard he might be going on a walk. And you are, young man. You're walking with me during the evening weather forecast here.
Okay.
Thanks to Rich for sending in the picture. Temperatures will cool to about 82 at 7 o'clock tonight, down to 73 by 11. Please send your picture to kevin.gregory@wrtv.com, and I'll take your dog for a walk. How about that? 62 overnight. Sky will clear. That wind out of the north. Tomorrow, comfortable in the morning, comfortable all day long. Mixture of clouds and sunshine. We move from the 60s into the low 80s, even with the nice breeze out of the north. That north wind keeps the humidity low. Temperatures below average for a couple of days. 84 is our average high. You can see we'll be shy of that. Later in the week and into the weekend, we'll climb above average a little bit. Here's your 7-day planner. Notice as we go to the end of the week, which happens to be RTV6 day at the State Fair, opening day on Friday. We're dry, a little warmer Saturday and Sunday, but still dry. Chance for thunderstorms will return early next week. The rain that we had last night, that's it for a while.
Okay.
It gets dry again.
Hopefully you soaked it all in.
Yeah. Kevin, thank you so much. Only on RTV6. Of course, Hannah B will reveal tonight her search for love in tonight's season finale. No, it can't be. It's the end of The Bachelorette. Amanda, stop it.
I can't wait. Hannah said herself that a lot of questions need to be answered after giving Peter... Why? She gave him the boot last night.
Oh, I missed that. The on-screen drama now boils down to two men, Jed and Tyler, the latter winning over her parents. Jed, not so much. Host Chris Harrison sets you up for the big finale tonight, which I'm sure will be the most dramatic in Bachelorette season.
So clearly heading into tonight's finale, Hannah's conflicted. She's in love with two men. She's told both of them that. Her family is in love with Tyler. Everything's been perfect with Tyler. They've questioned everything with Jed, but her heart seems to be really leading her towards Jed.
What a problem to have. Sheesh. The sneak peek shows both men with rings as Hannah gets ready for her big decision.
And find out what happens, as I just mentioned, in the most dramatic conclusion, the most ever in Bachelorette history tonight at 8 o'clock right here on RTV6. We're back as the News at 5 continues.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
We are ready. We are excited. The Indiana State Fair starts on Friday, and of course, it is RTV Day at the fair on Friday.
And we will broadcast live from the Indiana State Fairgrounds all day, starting with Good Morning Indiana. We are bringing you unique stories from the people who make the Indiana State Fair possible, the farmers.
And of course, all the innovative things that Indiana farmers are doing for our state. We'll see it during that newscast. We'll bring you the sights and the sounds of opening day, which I believe is also band day, which will be fantastic. And of course, we'll bring you all that stuff live. Join us all day Friday for all the fun right here. Where? RTV6. It's going to be fun. Coming up tonight on the news at 6, Indiana is at high risk for tornadoes. We'll tell you what that means for your child's school as they head back to class.
But first on the Now Indy, a local county cracking down on drivers who go around stop school buses. This is in response to 3 siblings killed by a car last year in Fulton County, Indiana. The drastic action one area is taking. You're watching RTV6.